Welcome back. This is AUB's Innovation Park on Virgin Radio. My name is Arthur, the co-founder and the CEO of Lemonade Fashion and the entrepreneur in residence of AUB's Innovation Park. The reason why we do the show every single week is because we want to show you that entrepreneurship is still a thing in Lebanon. You have a lot of opportunities to be able to succeed. On this show, every single week, we're going to introduce you either to amazing startups, founders, or investors that are actually shaping the ecosystem or shaping the opportunities around us. On today's show, we have a very, very special guest. It's not his first time here, but Ramzi Farah, who is the managing director of Razor Capital, this huge-ass VC venture capital firm from London that actually decided to come back to Lebanon and give an opportunity to the amazing startups and founders in Lebanon, who is also one of the investors of Lemonade Fashion. So Ramzi, on behalf of everyone, thank you so much for your money and for giving us money.
You're welcome. Thank you, Arthur.
Like we're going to talk about money a lot on today's show. So make sure to tune in. And this show is brought to you by the Talal and Madiha Zein AUB Innovation Park. This is AUB's Innovation Park on Virgin Radio. My name's Arthur. With me, Ramzi Farah, the managing director of Razor Capital. Ramzi, welcome back to our show.
Thank you, Arthur. Thanks for having me again.
Oh, thank you for being here. So Ramzi, you have many titles right now.
Oof.
But the two most important ones are investor in Lemonade.
Okay.
I'm kidding. So you've invested in some of the most amazing startups.
Yeah.
But you're also now on the board of advisors for AUB's Innovation Park.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I think there's a lot of talent coming out of AUB. And the Innovation Park is plugging a massive gap in the ecosystem, especially after the crisis, really supporting young entrepreneurs, getting them on their feet and giving them their first steps to support them in their growth and so on and so forth. So it's a pleasure to be part of the advisory board of AUB. It's also my alma mater. So whatever I can do to give back, it's always a pleasure.
And I feel like in the last year and a half, the startup community in Lebanon has really started to come alive again and really shifting. I think you're one of the main pillars of the community now. So let's go deep into that after these songs. Laura, what are we listening to? This is AUB's Innovation Park. Ramzi Farah, thank you so much for being here. You're the managing director of Razor Capital. So you guys are based out of London.
Yep.
And you're the biggest venture capital firm in Bangladesh, which is the fastest growing economy in the world. See, I know your pitch.
There you go.
So my question is, what brought you back to Lebanon?
I get that question a lot. We've been investing around the world since 2016. As you mentioned, we started off in Bangladesh. We've expanded further into Asia. We have our headquarters is in London. But honestly, it's the people that have brought me back. I've been able to work with people from around the world. I've had a career that took me from the Khalij to Europe to the US and most recently Far East and Asia. But in all honesty, I really enjoy working with the people in Lebanon, with the Lebanese, a lot of talent, very entrepreneurial, problem solvers, very, let's say, resistant. That's not the word I was looking for.
Persistent, disciplined.
Very disciplined.
Good-looking.
No, but really, I think they have the ability to overcome a lot of hurdles, a lot of obstacles, and so, it's a joy and it's a pleasure giving back and really supporting the people in town.
Yeah, and entrepreneurship is all about finding solutions for problems, considering we have a lot of problems here.
Yeah, I mean,
find a lot of
there
solutions.
You go. You wake up every day and you're like, okay, fi kahraba, fi benzin, fi so on and so forth, and you need to solve problems from the morning, right? And
what's your favorite song?
My favorite song, Biggie.
This is AUB's Innovation Park. My name's Arthur. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Lemonade Fashion, the entrepreneur in residence of AUB's Innovation Park. I'm with Ramzi Farah right now, who we actually work together on multiple things, right? Because Ramzi is an investor in Lemonade Fashion. He is also a board of advisors on AUB's Innovation Park.
Correct.
So what's the actual thing? So he's on the advisory board of AUB's Innovation Park.
Correct.
I feel like we're good friends right now as well. You guys should see his calves. I think Ramzi has like the biggest calves I've ever seen because he's also an athlete. You guys bike.
Yeah,
plays football.
yeah. Definitely athletics is something that I have a big passion for, all sorts of sports. This year I'm training for a triathlon, so cycling, swimming, and running. I'm not a great runner though, but I think it's very healthy to set a goal at the beginning of the year. The way I do it is I like to choose like a nice sporting challenge for the end of the year in general, October, November, that sort of time, and then train for it throughout the year. I think it keeps my body fit, but also my mind very healthy.
Do you usually advise your entrepreneurs to work out?
I definitely, like, our highest performing entrepreneurs are the ones that keep their mind sharp, and a lot of times you keep your mind sharp by exercising. So yes, we definitely advise that.
We're on Virgin Radio with Ramzi Farah from Laser Capital. Ramzi, in a lot of these shows, we usually talk about the importance of networking and building a community. So how do people network with you, for example? Like, how should people approach you if they're interested, for example, to pitch you their idea, to have you on board as a mentor, an advisor? What would that journey look like?
So I think let's just talk about networking for a second. I think networking is probably your most important investment and most important asset as a rising founder. You never know when a door might be able to open up for you when you least expect it. So I think always invest in your network as a founder. To reach me, we're very open door. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn, drop me a note, send me a deck. Ramzi Farah, Ramzi Farah, Razor Capital. I'm always ready to hear new founders, new ideas, and I love learning as well. So whenever I hear something new, or new technology, or a new development, or a new program, or whatever it is, I'm more than happy to welcome you and hear you out.
That is so cool. So I'm actually going to ask you your least favorite question after these songs, but I'm going to ask you about your thoughts on AI, which I know you hate as a question, but we're going to do that.
Sure.
So we're on AUB's Innovation Park. We have Ramzi Farah with us. This show is all about startups, investment, and how to turn your ideas into successful businesses. But it's also important to see what are the big trends that are around the world and shaping the reality that we live in right now. I think one of those big topics is AI. Ramzi, what are your thoughts around AI?
Look, it's a big subject, unfolding right now around the world, and I think one of the biggest things that we need to address when talking about AI is the intent of the creator of that AI, right? Do you want to create an AI that's, let's say, a military application that can support on the battlefield, or a robot that can go and kill people, autonomously? Or do you want to create an AI that is going to support doctors in the surgery room? Or do you want to create an AI that's going to help you write your entire thesis in when you're doing your PhD, right? So it really depends on the intent of the creation of that AI, and what it's being used for. So
to quote Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. With great power comes great responsibility, right? And so I think, we need to be very, very, very cautious as to what we're using these AIs for. It's going to be a subject for the next 10 years. Definitely something within our lives that there's no turning back from. So I believe it's coming. There's no avoiding it. But again, what are we going to use it for is the big question.
Right. So if you're into AI, always ask yourselves, what would Spider-Man do?
Exactly.
This is AUB's Innovation Park. Ramzi, thank you so much for this amazing show right now. And you're the managing director of Laser Capital, this very big VC from London that came back to Lebanon. And in the last year and a half, you've really been shaping the ecosystem. So what is your insights around it? How have you seen this ecosystem grow?
So I think you're giving me too much credit when you're saying I've been shaping the ecosystem. I've been part of its second growth, right? Let's call it. The first growth was pre-2019, and the second growth happened after the crisis. It took a big hit before it started to grow, but what we're seeing is a lot of sort of natural grassroots growth happening around town. And what I also like to see, what I also see is that there's been a lot more sort of decentralization within the ecosystem. So we're seeing hubs of excellence popping out around the entire of the country versus, centralized in Beirut. A lot of e-commerce businesses popping out around the country. A lot of independent, let's call them creators, whether they be fashion creators that obviously you're supporting at Lemonade, or podcasters that are being supported at Podio,
or lawyers.
Or lawyers, for instance, right? Entering the digital age, being supported at Haq. So it's a very sort of natural, decentralized growth that's not being forced, but it's happy to. I'm very happy to see this new wave of entrepreneurship that's coming up. I feel everybody took a big hit over the last 4 years, but over the last, let's say, 12 months, people's energy are starting to change, especially within the tech ecosystem.
And I love that the new ecosystem that's being built is so much higher quality, like much better startups, much more experienced investors, and we're all looking now for global expansion, which I think is a very healthy thing. Ramzi, thank you so much for being here. I know I didn't say this today yet, but we're going to listen to some Katy Perry. We had an amazing show today on AUB's Innovation Park with Ramzi Farah, the managing director of Razor Capital. He's also on the board of advisory at AUB's Innovation Park. Make sure to follow him on Instagram and on LinkedIn. It's Ramzi, R-A-M-Z-I, Farah, F-A-R-A-H. We should just call him Happy Ramzi, and I'm glad he's very happy when he gives us a lot of his money. So thank you, Ramzi, for your money once again.
It's a pleasure.
So on today's show, we really discussed the ups and the downs of entrepreneurship. We discussed how the ecosystem is shifting. We talked a bit about AI. Make sure to tune in every week because we're going to introduce you to all the amazing investors, all of the people that you need to meet, you need to connect with if you want to turn your idea into successful business. AUB has a lot of programs right now that are ongoing. We have a lot of support from AUB, from all of the entrepreneurs around it. All the details are on the website. It's aub.edu.lb/iPark, or just Google AUB and Innovation Park. You can find all of the details. Make sure to connect with us in person. Come to our events. Meet with us. Talk to us. I'm going to be there. Ramzi's there. All of the other people are there as well. Be part of the community. And as always, this show is brought to you by the Talal al-Madi Zein AUB Innovation Park. See you all next week. Have you ever wondered how ideas turn into successful businesses? Do you want to become an entrepreneur but don't know where to get started? Join me, Arthur, this Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. on Virgin Radio Lebanon. Join me, Arthur, this Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. on Virgin Radio Stars, where I'm chit-chatting with Ramzi Farah, the managing director of Razor Capital.
Hey guys, join us this Friday on Virgin Radio,
where we're going to be talking about how to raise investment for your startup and all of the opportunities that exist currently in the market. As always, the show is brought to you by the Talal al-Madi Zein AUB Innovation Park.